Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger. Up next, Monday Night Football. Let's talk. The last game of Week 3, Monday Night Football, Ravens versus Lions. And I think this is a matchup that is going to be must-see TV. I think this game will be won based on who puts on the best offensive performance. Now, some of you might be like, duh. But sometimes defense comes through with big plays. Sometimes special teams come through with big plays. But I think specifically in this matchup, it's going to be won by who puts up the best offensive performance. Who can get their run game going first? Who can be consistent offensively? Who does not turn over the ball offensively? That's who's going to win this game. Both teams have good players from front to back. Although the Baltimore Ravens will be missing Meta BK, both teams have good players in all the important positions. Both teams have good players on offense in all the important positions. But who's going to execute? Who's going to find a rhythm first? Who's going to be able to grind it out when things slow down? Who's going to be able to manage the clock when it's going into the fourth quarter and things are close? Who's going to be able to hand that ball off and run it? Who's going to be able to pick up the 3rd and 4 and keep the chains moving? Who's going to be able to hit that field goal near the end of the game to tip the tide? I don't believe this will be a blowout either way. I don't. I think it's going to be a game that's going to look more like a shootout. I think this game will be played in the high 20s, maybe even in the mid 30s. I don't think Detroit is going for 52 like last week. I don't think Baltimore is going for 40 like last week. But if things go wrong for one team or another, I think it could get out of hand. But I definitely think it's going to be shootout level, right? And I think my prediction for this game earlier was 38-33. I still believe it's going to be, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it may be in the 30s. I think 38-33 is about right. I think you're going to see one of those games from Lamar Jackson where he puts on the cape. I think Lamar Jackson has to put on the cape tonight in order to keep pace with this offense. I think not being able to get that pressure on Jared Goff up the middle is going to put an extra onus on the edge rushers to get around the edge and collapse the pocket and make life difficult. I know that this Detroit Lions offense isn't great between the center guard, because they rebuilt that this season. That's where they've been the most vulnerable. But can we take advantage of that? Will Travis Jones show up and do some things? Will they blitz up the middle, that being the Ravens, and cause some havoc to Jared Goff? Will the Baltimore Ravens be able to get 1 or 2 turnovers in this game and give our offense an extra possession? I think that's what's going to be needed in order for the Ravens to win this game. I think that the Detroit Lions has the firepower to match us score for score. I don't think we have the type of defense right now who has an ability to shut down a legitimate offense. I know last week, playing against the Browns with Joe Flacco and those dudes, I think that we maybe looked a little better defensively off of our week 1 performance, but this is going to show, did the improvements we made last week in week number 2, will that carry over? Were those improvements legitimate, or was it just the level of offensive competition we were playing against defensively? And so I think all of those things are going to show up. The Detroit Lions are going to come into town mostly healthy as it pertains to their major parts, right? And so at every position group, they have some elite level talent. St. Brown is what you call an elite level wide receiver. Gibbs is an elite level running back. They have a decent offensive line. Laporta has the ability to be an elite level tight end. So they have everything they need offensively to be successful against our defense. And I think where we are vulnerable still is in the middle. The ability to cover tight ends, the ability to cover guys who get involved in crossing routes and underneath routes, which I think will be open. And I think that's where the Lions are going to try and attack. And so that's why I say it's going to be an offensive battle. And so I think how the Baltimore Ravens can take advantage in this game is I think Lamar Jackson is going to rush for over 75 yards in this game. I don't know if it's going to be because the run game isn't going early, but I think it will be a necessity. I think you're going to see him have to use his escapability at a high level. I think you're going to see him use his running ability with called run plays at a high level. And matter of fact, I'm saying 75, but I'm feeling more like closer to 100 yards rushing. I think that then gives Derrick Henry an opportunity to get things going and keep things going. I think the Baltimore Ravens could rush for over 200 yards in this game. I think that's going to be a necessity. I think it's also going to be a good idea for the Baltimore Ravens to see if you can get Keaton Mitchell a couple of touches, right? With Rashawn Ali out, unless things have changed on the injury report, Keaton Mitchell should get that call up this week and be activated. And so if he's activated, then I think they should use it. I think this is a week where we need to see something from Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is 2 catches and 7 yards on the season, no touchdowns. This has to be a 5-6 catch game where Mark Andrews is controlling the middle of the field, where he's going to be a chain mover, where he's going to be a real legitimate threat. He can't go another game where he's basically non-existent. It just can't be that way. I think this is a game where our special teams is going to be important. Will Luke make the 50-yarder this week? Will he be 100% on the extra points this week? Will Ajante Wester get an opportunity to return one over the 50-yard line? All of these things I think is going to be important this week, because I think we're going to have to put up that 38 in order to win this game. This game absolutely will not be played in the teens. If it's played in the teens, I will be absolutely surprised. I think that the Detroit Lions are going to try and air it out. And I think we will get a couple of opportunities to take the ball away. Again, my prediction is 38-33, Baltimore Ravens win. I think you're going to see a ton of yards for both teams. And I think you're going to see some fireworks. So you guys let me know what you want me to know about this game. Give me your score prediction. Tell me what we need to do offensively, because that's where it's going to be won and lost for the Ravens. And I'll catch you guys after the game. I'm out.